joy. Pray you'll take my sorrow. I give to you my weakness. I give to you my strength. I give to you the thoughts that I do think. Oh, Mother, let me feel your smile. Let me know beyond a doubt that I'm your child. I'm your child. I run around this world looking for your love. Please don't hide your face from me. Fill me with your love. Without you there's no meaning. Without you I am lost. I'll keep on searching for you, no matter what the cost. Oh, Mother, let me feel your smile. Let me know beyond a doubt that I'm your child. I'm your child. There are so many words to use and mouths to speak therefrom. I only want to be myself, to give to thee alone. Please give to me the words to say, and with thy tongue I'll speak. Without thy inspiration, I cannot move my feet. Oh, Mother, let me feel your smile. Let me know beyond a doubt that I'm your child. I'm your child. I offer you this day. I offer you tomorrow. I give to you my joy. Pray you'll take my sorrow. I give to you my weakness. I give to you my strength. I give to you the thoughts that I do think. Oh, Mother, let me feel your smile. Let me know beyond all doubt that I'm your child. I'm your child. I'm your child. I'm your child.
Perfect song, Jayanti. Absolutely perfect for today. Okay. Om Sarva Mangala Mangaye Shive Savarta Sarike Sharanye Trambake Gauri Narayani Namostute Narayani Namostute Narayani Namostute. O you who are the giver of all blessings, O you who are the doer of all good, O you who are the fulfiller of all desires, O you who are the giver of refuge, our salutations to you, our salutations to you, our salutations to you again and again. Good morning. Thank you for being here, and happy Mother's Day. What a perfect day to be talking about Holy Mother. Oddly enough, I did not know till about 5 days ago that today was going to be that today was Mother's Day. I went, oh my God, really? You got to, really? I was like, oh, that's perfect. That's absolutely perfect. I did not pre-plan this. I'm not that clever. But it couldn't be really a better subject for today. Nothing is very little is better than talk about Holy Mother. So it's really a great subject because today is the day dedicated to our mothers. And Sarda Devi is kind of like the mother of all mothers. She is the mother of all. She said, never fear. Whenever you are in distress, just say to yourself, I have a mother. You know, many people have fraught relationships with their mothers. But we don't have that problem with Holy Mother. She'll never abandon us. She'll never wound us. She'll never belittle us, or she will never give preference to someone she likes better than us. She's always there for us. She loves us wholly and entirely, no matter what, and she always will. She is not judgmental. Her love is unconditional. And she's always there to support us and love us through and through, no matter what. She will care for us in the best way possible. Now, the problem is because this may not be our preferred method of how we want to be taken care of. It also may not be our preferred timing for how we want to be taken care of. But it is absolutely the best way possible that will come to us. As to our relationship with our earthly mother, the Hindu tradition is really clear about that. The Manu Smriti reminds us that our mother is our first guru, Adiguru. The mother is our first guru. She taught us our first prayers. She taught us everything, the first person. So, because of that, we are to worship her, serve her as best we can. At least, send her a card for Mother's Day, give her a call. How are you doing, Mom? Thinking of you, love you. Send her flowers, chocolate. The ancient Taittiriya Upanishad, one of the oldest of the Upanishads, says, Matru Devo Bhava. See your mother as God. See your mother as God. It's also said in the tradition that the debt to our mother is the only debt we cannot repay. We can repay every other debt in our life, not to our mothers. Why? Because she gave us life. She carried us. She fed us. She nurtured us. She was up all night, all the time with us. And Swami Swahananda, who was our Swami in charge before Swami Sarvadevananda came, a great, wonderful, holy man, used to say that the most spiritual people in the world were mothers, not monks and nuns, mothers, because they were the most unselfish. And unselfishness is always the yardstick for genuine spirituality. Not being in the cave, not how long you can sit with your legs crossed. How unselfish you are. That is the yardstick for real spirituality. So mothers, without even thinking, sacrifice so much for their children, even if the kids don't even know about it. Now, I know there are many of you who say, yeah, you know what? That's not my experience with my mother. That is not my experience. And there are some people who've had really tough upbringings. There are mothers who made their life really tough. There are kids who've had their upbringing was with their relationship with their mother was nothing short of brutal. What do we do when we have or have had a mother like that? Well, what do we do when we have a mother that has given us pain? Not like my mother didn't take me camping. My mother didn't. I never got a Barbie. Who cares? Like real pain, genuine pain. that's when we have to remember our karma chose the mother that we are, not only our mother, our entire family, our living situation, where we would be and what we would do. Our karma chose that. Our karma chose our mother because that's where we needed to be at exactly this time and this place to bring out what we needed to bring out in this life. It's like with a really difficult mom. Let's say you're in a house. The house is comfortable. Why are you going to leave that house? I'm sitting and watching the telly. You know what? I'm vegging. I'm that tired. If that house is on fire, you're out of there. If we have a very difficult relationship with mother, it's because we're meant to move. We're meant to learn something from that relationship. We're meant to grow into the human being we're supposed to be in this lifetime. Every person has important roles in our life. So this is really to remind us how central and important the role of a mother is in our life, and to really pay reverence for that. So it's not just about the chocolates, the flowers, and the brunch, even though those are really important. Don't forget any of it. But it's really what a central role they play in our lives, and to really give some thought about that. So Holy Mother Sarda Devi was really mother among mothers. She literally saw herself as the mother of all beings, not just human beings. She literally saw herself as the mother of birds and animals, insects. She saw herself as the mother and said so. I'm the mother of them all. Yes, including animals. Yes, including birds. Yes, including insects. Everyone and all living beings were under this enormous, enormous umbrella of her compassion and her love, her care. We're all under that umbrella. She said, I'm the mother of the virtuous, and I am also the mother of the wicked. Okay, so in other words, all of us, without exception, in this great gamut of human beings, we're all there. We're all there under her loving protection. She's our mother, and we are hers, and she's ours. That's the real truth of it. Even when we're unaware of it, she is there for us. It's like the mother's up all night taking care of a child when the child is sick. So even if the mother's doing something the child doesn't like, and the child screams and cries and carries on, she's being a mother. She's taking care of us, just as Holy Mother is taking care of us all now. Sri Ramakrishna's great disciple, Swami Shivananda, said about Holy Mother, none can understand her. She eludes everybody's mental grasp. Which, you know what, I really got to say, this is not a promising way to start a talk on Holy Mother. It's like, great, we'll never understand her, so okay, let's all go have that brunch. But he also said, she is the mother of us all. None can comprehend that she is the mother of the universe herself. She incarnated herself to fulfill Sri Ramakrishna's mission on this world. And the world is blessed by her very presence. By her very presence. Now, why would he say that she's so hard to understand? And I think it's because she's like so ordinary. Like Swami Shivananda himself said, he said, she lives like an ordinary housewife. She's doing her chores. She's taking care of all the devotees, taking care of her family. He said, who can understand that she is literally the mother of the universe? Sri Ramakrishna said, the mother who is there in that Kali temple is the same mother who's there in the Nahabad, Holy Mother. Same mother. You know, Holy Mother came from an extremely traditional 19th century Bengali Brahmin family. Very, very, what we would call today, strictured life. For them, it wasn't strictured, that was the norm. It had been that way for hundreds, if not thousands of years, generation after generation after generation. Very strictured life, especially for women. Women kept to themselves. Women and men did not mix. There was like no schools for girls. It did not happen. It was a very, very structured life. Women wore a veil. If they were with men that were not part of their immediate family, they were covered by a veil. They a lot of times just stayed inside, behind a screen. And it wasn't something that they thought of as being repressed. This was life. This was just life. This is the way life was. And when she was in Jairambati, she was out and about doing things that women in Jairambati did. She was out, hulling paddy and taking care of the cows and feeding everybody. But it was once you become an adult, once you become a woman, you're like that. And this is the way things were. Never a complaint by anyone. This is just the way things were. Mother thrived in it, but when necessary, went right beyond all those boundaries when it was called for. In Dakshineshwar, where she lived because Sri Ramakrishna was there, her husband, she lived in a tiny hut. I mean by tiny, I mean tiny. 8 foot by 8 foot. That was the entire space. The door to get into it was 2.5 feet high. So she'd have to go over like that. She was 5'6". I'm 5'0". She said she when going into doors, the body would automatically just bend down going like that. She did all the cooking in there. She often had women guests in there that would spend the night or weekends, 8 by 8. Obviously, no running water, obviously no plumbing. No one had any at that time. And was doing all the cooking. All the food was stored in there. All the food that she was making for Ramakrishna and his disciples that were coming in, it was all in there. She'd be making chapatis, like rolling out bread, for hours. And then you actually see the Nahabat in person. You go, how can anyone do this? It's like, how is it possible? And then, what did Holy Mother herself say about this? She said, I always felt as if a jar of bliss was placed inside my heart. I cannot tell you the joy that I felt. She said, I can't explain to you the fullness of that joy that I felt. She'd be like looking through the slats and hearing Sri Ramakrishna sing and seeing him dance with all the devotees immersed in joy. She was immersed in joy. And her fate was just to think of those days and look at those days. I cannot even tell you the joy that I felt, which just tells you it's our attitude. It's all in our attitude. She lived in that amazing joy. And it's all in our attitude. It's all in the way we think of things, do things. So externally, she lived a very simple, uncomplicated life. And it was entirely undramatic, which is just perfect for us. Because we're kind of ordinary people too, right? Just, how are you? It's like, okay, same old, same old. Holy Mother is big, same old, day after day. But it shows us that you can lead a profoundly deep spiritual life that is so contagious that everybody else is radiated by that heat by living an outwardly normal life, day by day. She worked all day doing cooking, cleaning, husking paddy, taking care of the family members. And her family was a total zoo. They were either completely just crazy. I mean, like DSM certifiable nuts. They were either that, or they were greedy, or they were contentious, or usually all three at the same time. Her sister-in-law was certifiably insane, and because of that, Holy Mother took care of her daughter Radhu for her entire life. And Radhu herself was more than a handful. She was also suffered from mental illness. She was a complete handful. And the family, and Radhu, along with the rest of the family, simply saw Holy Mother as a way of getting things. How can I get things? How can this happen? Holy Mother just was like a swan floating on the water. while everyone beneath was going, unbelievably, all they wanted from her was money and things. They were always fighting with each other. They were always into family battles, and they were just like so unnice to each other, including her. She never lost her peace or tranquility. She was calm, measured, equally loving and gracious to all. She mediated all their family quarrels, which were many, and did so with an equal eye to all, very kindly, compassionately, equal-hearted. She lived a life intensely in the world, intensely, but her mind was on God the whole time. That was, and this is Mother's, I think, special gift to us, because she lived in the highest spiritual consciousness while doing these ordinary things every day, the things that all of us deal with all the time. And we think, oh my God, because people often think, if I were a nun or if I were a monk, I could really dig into my spiritual life. But if I didn't have my family stress, if I didn't have my job stress, if I didn't have, economic stress, I could really, grind in there and sit and meditate. But it isn't like she didn't have that all at the same time. She didn't have job stress. That was really obvious what she was going to be doing day in and day in and day out. But at the same time, we forget that it's the same mind that goes with us, no matter where we are out there. Because people think, if I could only go to the Himalayas, if I could just take a retreat, if I could make a pilgrimage to India, boom, I could really get into my... No, the same universe goes with us wherever we go. This goes with us. Until we change that, this is going to be pretty much the same. Because this colors what we see and what we react to out there. That's the deal. Mother's life and her teaching show us that we can have the highest realization with doing everyday activities while keeping our mind on God. Just doing everyday activities won't start the battery. You need to think of God all the time. That's the point. Everybody does stuff in and out, in and out, in and out. But where's our mind going? That's the point. Holy Mother was really big into just doing work and doing it in a very concentrated, mentally collected way. Once a young monk was at her place in Jairambati, at her little cottage. And after he swept the floor, he kind of threw the broom in a corner. And she said, "How strange, my dear. This work is finished and you throw the broom? You throw it away carelessly. Isn't it pretty much the same time to put it away slowly and carefully as to just throw it?" She said, "Should you despise a thing because you think it's insignificant? Won't you need that broom again?" And then she said, "Because this broom also forms a part of our household. It deserves some respect. You must give each their due share of honor. Even a broom must be shown honor. Even the smallest work must be done with the greatest reverence." Reverence. So we should remember that the next time we're taking out the garbage or changing the oil in the car or whatever we're doing. Just even the smallest thing done with reverence makes all the difference. She said, "One must do some work. Through work alone, one removes the bondage of work." That's why the word for work is karma. Karma creates karma because we have desires when we do a work. And that creates attachment, and then that desire makes us do something which creates more karma. That's, she said, how we do our work removes the bondage of work. So, because we can't meditate all the time. Nobody can meditate all the time. It's not possible unless you're a highly, highly evolved being, and I feel fairly certain that none of us here are. And even the ones who are come down and they deal with people. So we can't meditate, but what we can do is work and make that as an offering to divine. Make that as an offering to God. We can do that. Holy Mother teaches us that each and every job that we do, whether it's cooking or cleaning or taking out the garbage, or whether it is, how would you say? Okay, being a brain surgeon or a rocket scientist, all done with the same concentration, the same carefulness, all in the same attitude. We have to have the attitude of a perfect karma yogi, doing it as an offering to God. Once a woman came all the way from Calcutta to Jairamati to get some spiritual instruction from Holy Mother. But Mother was so busy. She was doing cooking and cleaning, and she was busy with, taking care of all these individual people. And finally, this woman just got fed up, and she said, "Mother, I have come here to get some instruction from you, but I see you're too busy even to talk to me." And she said, "Haven't I been giving you spiritual instruction?" Holy Mother taught a key precept that she carried out. It was actually Sri Ramakrishna who taught her this, and she kept it through her whole life. She kept it very much in the forefront. He said, "You have to be adjusted to time, place, and circumstance." Sri Ramakrishna had told her that no one can attain peace or reach their goal if they can't adjust themselves to change circumstances, to the changes of time, place, and person. Now, this Holy Mother took very, very much to heart. You see, Mother was extremely bashful by nature, very modest. She was so modest that the people in Dakshineshwar at the temple garden didn't even know she was there. Only a few people knew she was there because she stayed very much, she was quietness itself, stayed in the Nahabat, very quiet. And by nature, she was extremely withdrawn. But when Sri Ramakrishna became very ill with throat cancer and had to be moved from Dakshineshwar to Kolkata, there was a problem. Holy Mother had been cooking for Sri Ramakrishna and knew what kind of food he needed for his special diet for the cancer. Well, who was going to cook for him in Kolkata? And they suggested to Sri Ramakrishna, well, maybe we can bring Mother there. And he said, will she go? Can she go there? Because she'd be going to a big city. She'd be going to a place where there are men in the house all over the place. Could she do that? She did it without a second's hesitation. Boom. She was there. She was there. She adjusted. And whenever it was called for, she moved forward without fear or hesitation. Boom. Time, place, circumstance. Adjust. There's another example of hers that I really like. Long after the passing of Sri Ramakrishna, she was going from her ancestral home in Jairamati, which she actually liked better because it was a little more free, it was outdoors, it wasn't like this congested city of Calcutta where she was kept in a tiny room. So she was going back from Dakshineshwar to Kolkata. And of course she was taking there was always an entourage because she took her family members with her, she took the women who lived with her, they went with her, all of her family, and then the monks who were staying there, so this big troop was going. And about halfway through the journey, there was disaster because the cook who was there was making rice and he broke the earthen pot. Okay, this is a big problema because all the food that is, before anyone eats it, the food is always offered to Sri Ramakrishna first. Holy Mother takes out her little picture of Sri Ramakrishna. She offers the food, and then everyone gets prasad, sanctified food. Okay, so they're going, disaster, and she's like totally fine about it. She wasn't upset at all. She carefully collected the rice from the top of it. She added a little dal over here. She added a little vegetable over here, opened her picture of Sri Ramakrishna, and offered it, and said, "Thakur, this is the way that you have ordered it. Please eat quickly while it is warm." And then she started to feed. And then, of course, the monks started to laugh. And she said, what? Look, Mother told the monks, hey, wait, look, one should act and adjust according to time. Now all of you sit down and eat your food. Because as the mother, she wasn't going to eat until all of them had eaten. Now, the monks, of course, had their brilliant idea, was that they were going to go out, find a new pot, start the rice all over again, then they would eat, and then they would go. Well, they were in a bullock cart. You don't ever want to be in a bullock cart. It is boom, 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 boom. They had 14 miles to go in an area that was really not safe. And she's saying, it's going to be too late. This is how Sri Ramakrishna has ordered it. This is the way he is. This is the way that he is, seems to be. So she offered it, and off we went. So adjust to time, place, circumstance. And because she was so wise and so practical, her advice was sought her entire life, not only with her family from when she was very young, from Sri Ramakrishna himself, and then from all the monks in the Ramakrishna order. After Sri Ramakrishna passed away, she was kind of the final authority. Once a servant in Bellarmont was found to have stolen. So Swami Vivekananda threw him out, of course. And he went to Mother weeping. And she understood that the reason he stole was there was not enough food in the house for his children and his wife. So she said, you go back. And so the servant went back. Why? He said, Mother, he said, oh, you've gone to the Supreme Court. Problem solved. Don't do that again. So when she was a young woman, this is a remarkable incident, and I think it really shows us the caliber of who exactly we're talking about. When she was a young woman, probably 16, Holy Mother was on her way with her women companions, some people, to go from Jairambati to Dakshineshwar, where Sri Ramakrishna was. That's a long way, and they were doing it on foot. And it would take about 3 days at that point. And it's not a safe way to go. There was no choice. She was a young, beautiful woman. So at one point, the mother and her companions had to cross about 10 miles in this area that's well known for being dangerous, Telobello. It is well known for being a haunt of dacoits. And dacoits are robbers who not only steal everything you got, but they also kill you. And they're well known for being vicious. So she told them, because she kept falling behind, and it was getting dark, and she said, you go ahead. She didn't want them to be in danger. You go ahead. I will catch up with you. I will meet you there. So off they went. And she was alone. And she walked about half the distance when all of a sudden, coming out from the reeds there, was this kind of terrifying looking man. And he approached her with a really harsh voice and said, he was brutal. He said, who are you and why are you walking here at this time? And without hesitation, she said, Father, my companions have left me behind and I've lost my way. I don't know what I would have done if you hadn't come. Will you please accompany me to where I'm supposed to go? My companions have left me behind. Your son-in-law, Sri Ramakrishna, is at the Kali temple in Dakshineshwar. He'll be very grateful and happy if you will take me there. And he was touched. Then she sees someone else coming. She sees this other person coming. And it turns out to be Mrs. Dacoit, the wife of the dacoit. And Mother, without a second, takes her hand and says, Mother, oh, thank God you have come. I'm your daughter, Sarada. And I was in such great danger, but now you and Father have so fortunately come to my help. I don't know what I would have done if you had not come. And because she transmitted to them that she really saw them as her own mother and father, and she transmitted to them her total trust and love and respect that she had for them, they immediately saw her as their own daughter, their own beloved child. They took her, gave her all care, laid her down, made sure that she was cosseted and comfortable so that she would have no discomfort. They fed her and walked all the way to Dakshineshwar with them. And when they got there, Sri Ramakrishna treated them with great love and kindness. And as they both said, please come back again, which they did. They did, all the way from Telobello to Dakshineshwar, and continued to visit her. And when the dacoit parents left, they all wept at the thought of being separated from their loved ones. Now, it's important that none of this was scripted. None of this was scripted. It was that profound love and kindness and respect that she transmitted to these people, that they offered her that in kind. She saw divinity in them, and they saw divinity in her. That was what was so wonderful. Nothing scripted. Just genuine overflowing of love and trust. That is a real lesson. That is a real lesson in life. Because how many of us pull back when we see someone and go, don't know about that one. Yeah. That is, she literally saw them as her own, which made them see her as their own. And this is how she is with us. That's why it's Holy Mother and us. It's not hyperbole. It's not, what do you call it, hippy-dippy talk. Just how she literally saw them. And that's how it is with us. She is hers. She is ours. And that's the one thing we can depend on in this life. One thing. She was also very fond of the Muslim Amjad. Now, if you're in a Hindu family, you're not going to be dealing with Muslims. You know, they're kept in, they kind of keep to their own ways there. And you're especially not going to have them in your house on the porch. And not only was Amjad a Muslim, he was a thief. He was a thief, yeah. So he would get out of jail and come visit Holy Mother, and she would lovingly feed him. And of course, everybody was outraged by that because you're kind of breaking every rule you can. But she said, Amjad is as much my son as Sharat. Now, Sharat was Swami Saradananda, the first Secretary General of the Ramakrishna Order, a beloved disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, and who would be her caretaker until in the last part of her life. Amjad is much my son as Sharat. Literally how she saw him. So, you know, just as kind of on the not to be appreciated by the Brahmins scale, not as Brahmins, Westerners were kind of in that place too. Because Westerners are Angreji. We're not in the caste system. We're not. The Westerners eat beef. They wear leather shoes. They wear boots. They do this. They do that. They'd been keeping the country like that. They were not appreciated. You do not mix with Westerners. Holy Mother greeted Swami Vivekananda's Western women disciples with great love and just treated them as literally her own children. She adored them. She brought them into her house and fed them. Whoa. Big, big, big. This is, girls in 19th century rural Bengal, don't do that. She did without even thinking. It wasn't like, hey, I'm breaking a rule. It was like, it came so naturally to her because they were her children. Nivedita in particular. She really loved Nivedita because Nivedita was strong. She was extraordinarily devoted to her guru, Swami Vivekananda, and she loved Holy Mother. And she would give Holy Mother gifts which Mother would not part with. Like she gave Holy Mother needed, what do you put over a lampshade? She needed a lampshade. Well, it started to get kind of wrecked. No one could touch it. My Nivedita gave this to me. My Nivedita gave this to me. It was so precious to her. She called her Kuki, which in Bengali means baby. She's my baby. She adored her. So Western women, when Swami Vivekananda heard about this, he said, "Isn't it wonderful? Isn't it wonderful?" He was just, wow, that she would break out. I mean, everyone knew how extraordinary she was, but this was like light years ahead of what anyone thought could ever happen. So women's education was pretty much non-existent in Bengal. Wasn't existent very much in India unless you were, let's say it just was pretty darn rare, extraordinarily rare. And like most women, Mother was illiterate, but she fiercely wanted women to be educated. And she strongly advocated that young girls go to Nivedita's girls' school, of which she was justly proud, and she encouraged girls to go to Nivedita's school for girls. Sri Ramakrishna said she is Sarada, she is Saraswati. The word Sarada comes from the word Saraswati, which is the goddess of wisdom, goddess of knowledge. That's who she is. So, in her simple and sweet way, she answered questions that have been confounding philosophers for thousands of years. Did she do this by just a sentence? So yes, she emphasized the necessity of work, but she also emphasized the absolute necessity of meditation, of japa, and prayer. She wasn't like, vac all the time. No, balanced. Have your mind on God when you work. Meditate. She said, it's really important to be regular and consistent with your meditation. And meditation and japa, that is repetition of the Lord's name, very important. She said it's like the rudder on a boat. It keeps it going in the right direction. If we don't have meditation going, our boat's going to end up going because our rudder won't be set. She said at least morning and evening, spend some time in japa and meditation and prayer. She also said practice japa. That's the repetition of the Lord's name. Practice japa. She said, through that you will attain everything. Well, I like that. That's kind of simple. One thing we can do, that she said you will attain everything. I like that. Simple. We can do that. We can repeat the Lord's name anywhere we are. We could do it in traffic. We could do it at the grocery store. We can do it while we're waiting for customer service to come on the line. We can always do japa. And she said it's really important to develop the mental habit of thinking of God all the time. Thinking of God, because sometimes we just have to analyze and say, you find yourself going, nah, what am I thinking about? What am I thinking about that? Think of God. Do japa, or sometimes it's like think of the events, divine events. Think of the life of Ramakrishna, Holy Mother, Swami Vivekananda, Rama, Krishna, Jesus. Think of the events of their lives that are inspiring. And that will bring our mind up, and it'll take us out of that that it's so easy to get into. Holy Mother lived in a high state of spiritual consciousness all the time, but at the same, she was level-headed, incredibly practical. She was very adaptable. There's one story I really like. There's many stories I really, but this one really. There was a college student who used to visit her at her place in Calcutta, Udbodhan, where there was the printing press, the monks were all down, she was upstairs in this small room. And this college student used to visit her there. And so one day he went down, bowed down at her feet, and then all of a sudden he said, "Mother, I'm no good for this place. I'm unfit to come to you. I'm leaving you forever. Goodbye." What? He runs out the door, goes outside. She runs after him. She doesn't go outside. She's always scared by a fail. She goes outside and grabs him. She takes him by the shoulder, looks at him eye to eye, and he said, "Whenever any disturbing thought comes to your mind, think of me. Don't worry." She grabbed him. And it totally transformed his life. He said whenever anything would come to his mind, and all the time, he would see her eyes, her beautiful, compassionate face, and say, think of me, totally transformed her life. You know, the same miracle can happen to us if we want it. And that's really the question. That will happen to us too if we want it. Because the more we inhabit Mother's qualities, the more peace and joy we will have in our lives. The more we make room for her, the more she takes over. You know, she's like those squatters. So the more space we make for her in our hearts, the more she moves in. And then we get a lot more happiness and joy in our lives. She had a final message, which we hear all the time. In France, they repeat it in French in our Gretz Center before you can even eat. You have to go through this whole prayer. But the prayer is, I'm sure most of you have heard it, my child, if you wish to find peace of mind, do not find faults with others. Rather see your own faults. No one is a stranger, my child. The whole world is your own. Now that is practical Vedanta, because in Vedanta we're always talking about consciousness, the all-pervading existence, that there's nothing but Brahman, nothing but one infinite, all-pervading existence. We always teach the oneness of existence, and Mother's going, no one's a stranger. That's what it means. There's not like one Atman here and one over there. There's only one infinite divine. And we're just masquerading in our little Halloween outfits of name and form and role and social place and gender and all this nonsense. Only one infinite divine existence. So no one is a stranger. No one is a stranger. No one is separate from us. Now this is tough. Tough, especially when people criticize us or get on our nerves. And they do. All the time. It's really important to try to remember it. No one's a stranger. No one is separate from us. Holy Mother literally saw every being as her own child, whether they be a caterpillar or a rodent or irritating family member, crazed family member, or a divine being. Everybody was literally her own child. Dogs and cats and cows and bugs, all under her great embrace of loving compassion. She could never see anyone as other. They were all her children. What a lovely thought, right? Lovely thought. You know, if we could just take a little bit of that, just even a hair, how much sweeter our lives would be, how much happier we would be, how much we would grow, not only spiritually, but just like emotionally, how much we would grow as a human being, living up to our potential of who we can be in this life, how much joy we would get, how much less of a pain we would be to ourselves and to others, if we could just take a little bit of that message. Holy Mother's disciple in Portland, Swami Asheshanand, used to say, Thakur, that's Sri Ramakrishna, Thakur is the method, Holy Mother's the grace. She is the grace. So on Mother's Day, it's a great day to talk about Holy Mother. And on this day, what a great day. I pray that Mother not only gives her grace to you, which we already have, but we all become aware of that grace. And we can all really benefit from that grace in our lives. Thank you.
So many paths I've been upon, they all lead me to the one I love. She gives me strength to move my feet, songs to fill this heart with her nectar sweet. Her face I see, Mother Divine. shadows rise and darkened visions meet our eyes. Even there you smile, you're with us all the while. Rainy days in springtime's days, and valleys deep on mountains steep with snow. While all things grow on ocean shore in fathoms deep, in every place that one does meet, you go. Above and below, you keep me on this dusty road, in joy by grace and love untold, so sweet. You carry every load. In hardest times I find you there, hearing words of every prayer I speak. Your presence with me there, wherever place in time I may be, whatever visions I do see from here. And everywhere I pray your face shall greet my eyes, in every place, in every wise, right here. With me everywhere, right here. Right here.
Well, that's pretty perfect, Jayanti. We have some announcements. Let's see. On Wednesday, there'll be a reading on Swami Sardananda, Glimpses of a Great Soul, written by Swami Sheshananda. On Saturday, we will, I believe, have a gospel reading, because I think Swami Sarvadevananda, even though he's here, will not come until fairly late. So the latest that we've heard is that he is not planning on giving his Gita class on Saturday. It will be Swami Chidramananda doing the gospel reading. And Sunday, Swami Sarvadevananda will speak on the motherly nature of Buddha and Shankara. And let me conclude with a chant. Jananim Saradam Devim Ramakrishna Jagadgurum Padapadme Tayo Shritva Pranamami Muhur Muhur Pranamami Muhur Muhur Pranamami Muhur Muhur. Oh, thank you. Karma Yoga Day. 17th, that's this coming Saturday, 9:15 in the convent, or 9:30 if you prefer. Just come. We have lots of work outside, inside. Should be cooler by then. We would love to have, and we feed you. We give you snacks. We give you coffee. We give you tea. We take care of you. Thank you. Okay, and let me translate that. O Mother Sardadevi and Shama Krishna, the universal teacher, I take shelter at your feet, and I salute you again and again. Jaima. Happy Mother's Day. Okay, brunch, chocolate, flowers. Not necessarily that order.